Hey, Matt Catling here, and I thought I'd just put together a little bit of a presentation for you. And this presentation is on passion and purpose. Probably two of the most important things that you can look at if you're really wanting to get out there and create fulfillment and really make the most of the time that we have. There's a lot of studies that look into passion and purpose and having a reason or a mission. And you look at people that have achieved incredible things. They've been able to overcome insurmountable odds because they've got a reason, they've got a passion, they've got a mission that is often bigger than themselves. And so I wanted to share this training with you. It's a short, really short training because I think it could probably help you. It could help you switch you on and look at things maybe a different way. And so this presentation is finding your passion, and finding your passion is a piece of cake, absolutely, if you understand the process. And so, as I said, my name's Matt Catling. I'm the founder of the Institute of Behavioural Science, the executive director of the Your Future Now group, and newly the Troublemakers. And I love business. Business is my passion, and most importantly, I love helping people. In fact, all of my life, I think what has been constant is me wanting to help other people, and you can see that through my companies. We raise a whole lot of money for charity. We've raised close to $1 million now for different charities. We run complementary programs for the community to share education around communication, psychology, and behaviour, as well as business strategy. And for me, my journey was initially a little bit difficult. I suffered from learning difficulties, anxiety, bullying, you kind of name it. And I suffered from it. I remember at school I was like in the dumbest class, and I thought there was something so wrong with me. And if it wasn't for my dad, when I was 12 years old, he kind of grabbed me and took me under his wing, and he was like my hero, my mentor. Amazing, so confident, so powerful. And he enrolled me in an NLP training, can you believe, when I was 12 years old. And NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And neuro is the neurology, linguistics is the language, and the programs are the programs that we run unconsciously, like rituals of behavior. And in that course, it was all about learning communication, learning your behavior, and learning your psychology and how to take charge of your psychology and really focus on excellence. And so I went into this training thinking I was totally dumb, and I came out of this training realizing that I just had a different learning style to most people. I was off the scale kinesthetic, so that what that meant is that I learnt by doing, and I'd have to take things apart and put them back together. And so sitting in a classroom, I'd kind of sit there in a daydream. And in this training, we're able to connect my kinesthetics to my visual recall. Now, if you want to do really well at school, you just need to activate visual recall, which is rope learning. And that's certainly what happened. And I went from being like in the dumbest class in months through, I started to progress through to the top classes. The teachers were like, what has happened to Matt? And with that, my confidence started to grow. And also with that, a passion for kind of alternative information, or information that was specifically focused on results. And I got really passionate about that. Unfortunately, when I was 13 years old, it was Father's Day, and we're running along Manly Beach, and I lost my father to a massive heart attack. And that switched me on. It was so challenging, but at the same time, it shook me up. And it had me look at the world, and it had me go, what's the meaning of life? What is the purpose? What are we here for? We've got such a short amount of time. And with those questions, it led me on a different path. And I wanted to learn more about my dad. And so I started to study all of his books. Yeah, I called it the Library of Life. He had like close to 1,000 books on personal development, health, and psychology. And I became obsessed. I read every single book. And one thing that my dad said to me 2 weeks before he passed away, he said, Matt, I found the answer to life. The answer to life is to live it now. And that stayed with me, because I looked at my dad, and he was kind of stuck in the corporate world. He hated his job, and he worked so hard. He never had holidays, and he fundamentally gave his life to that corporation. And he would always talk about, one day I'd love to go around Australia. One day I would love to go horse riding, just simple things, but never did it, and time ran out for him. And one of the reasons why I created Live It Now is a symbol to him, and Live It Now is my 2-day event, and it's a contribution event. We raise money for charity, and his message lives on in that training, and that message is Live It Now, because we only have a certain amount of time. We sleep for 30% of our life. Latest statistics are that we spend 7% of our life on devices, and if you're in a job that you hate, there's not much time left. And so it's the decisions that you make now that produce the biggest results. And I've been able to help people live lifetimes in months just by making different decisions. And so I became obsessed with his bookshelf. I read every single book. But what I noticed was that my dad had all the answers. He had all of this incredible information, but he wasn't applying it. And that's one of the reasons why, again, I created Live It Now as a symbol to me and a symbol to other people, that the difference between knowing and doing is worlds apart. We need to apply. And we need to listen. We need to listen to that internal voice, and for some of you, it's an internal scream to do something different, to make some different decisions. And so that led me on a bit of a journey, and I got fully into personal development. I studied everything I possibly could. I studied business, and before long, I had all of these different companies. And today, we're out there in the world making a massive difference. I think I've worked with close to 100,000 people now, raised heaps and heaps of money for charity, and I've done it in a way by doing what I love, by doing my passion. So every single day doesn't feel like I'm working. In fact, it's so much fun. Sometimes I have to pinch myself because my life is so incredible, and the people that I can connect with, and I've just set it up in such a wonderful, wonderful way, and I really wanted to share that in this presentation because there's some simple things that you can do that can rapidly transform you. So I'll get into this presentation right now. So the first thing I want to share with you is our natural state is a state of peace. Now, not the inflated highs or the deflated lows. And I found it really interesting because especially in NLP, it was all about often intensity and switching on your confidence and getting into that higher state. But I found when you increase emotion, you actually decrease intelligence. And you've probably had that experience before where maybe you're in a relationship and emotional, massively emotional. You've activated maybe a past wound or a past hurt, and then you say some things that you don't actually mean. Or conversely, you're high as a kite, and then you make decisions that aren't necessarily the greatest decisions. And so our natural state is a state of peace. And if you look at all of the studies on meditation and how powerful meditation is, and that when you're in that centered, peaceful state, new information comes to the surface. And what we're talking about is clarity. And clarity is where you fundamentally just connect to who you are. There's a great man, his name's Milton Erickson, and he was one of the reasons that we've got clinical hypnosis. And he said this incredible statement. He said, the reason patients are patients is because they've taken on board so much external programming they've forgotten who they are. And I think that is such the case today. We've often taken on so many belief systems, so many fears, so many hurts, suggestions from media, suggestions from parents, that we've stopped listening to who we are. And when we do listen to maybe that internal voice or that feeling, our analytics jump in the way, or our ego jumps in the way and says, no, that doesn't make sense. What I should be doing is what everyone else is doing. But then if you look at everyone else, majority of people out there aren't happy. If you look at the statistics, anxiety and depression is increasing with all of the information and technology that we have. Heart disease is increasing, cancers are increasing, credit card debt's increasing. The statistics aren't necessarily that great. So my suggestion would be not to follow everyone, but to actually follow yourself. And the information starts to occur when we start to get connected. So as we get into the next part is we want to start to listen to our body, and our passion is crucial, and it's those fleeting moments of passion, and we want to use those as a bit of a compass. Your passion is your compass. And so let me give you a bit of a story. I was working with one client, and she'd done so much personal development. She attended courses after courses after courses, and she spent close to, I think, $100,000 on courses. She did everything, went everywhere in the world. And she came and saw me, and she's sitting in one of my sessions, and she's like, Matt, you've got to help me. I've spent so much money on personal development. I'm absolutely depressed. I hate my life. And in fact, I don't want to be here. And I'm like, okay. And then she then went rattled off all of the things that she hated about her life. Now, in life, you either know what you want or you know what you don't want. And when I was sitting with her, she could write me lists of all the things that she didn't want to experience and didn't want to happen, and all the things that she hated about her life right now. But when it came to asking her, well, what do you actually like? She couldn't tell me anything. And so I said to her, well, come on, there must be something. There must have been a time when you felt different. And she said, no, 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 I hate everything in my life. I hate my job. She was about 20 kilos overweight. She's like, I hate my body. I'm disgusting. She was single. She's like, I'll never get into a relationship. And just rattled off all of these different things. I'm like, no, 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 that's not the question. Sometimes people get so passionate about their problems. I'm like, no, 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 no. The question was, what are you actually passionate about? What do you love? And I said, I just need to hear maybe a time when there was something different, when you felt something different. And she said to me, Matt, well, 2 years ago, I was walking along the beach and I felt lighter. I'm like, okay, I can work with that. And I said, so 2 years ago, you felt different and you're walking along the beach and you've never done it again? And she said, that's right. And so I said, so from that point onwards, you've done everything that you hate. And she said, yes, that's exactly right. I'm like, okay. See, sometimes in life we've got to create space for something new. And sometimes we're just so packed full of the stuff that we don't want that there's no space for anything else. And I said, okay, obviously what we've got to do is we've got to change your environment. We've got to do something different. And I said, your job is to go to the beach. And I want you to take this journal. I gave her a journal. I want you to take this journal. I want you to write in this journal. And I want you to write down, what are you passionate about? What do you love? And she goes, oh, that's crap. I've answered those questions before. And I said, well, I want you to do it again, but this time I want you to do it in a different environment. And so she was like, okay, well, I'll try, Matt. Now, she's not going to do it. So I got really hard on her. I said, you got to go to the beach tomorrow. Here's a journal. And she's like, but I've got all of this work on. And I said, I don't care. You either do it or I'll never work with you again. And so begrudgingly, she went to the beach and she took this journal and she answered the question, what do I love? What is my passion? And initially there was a whole lot of resistance because obviously she's got a habitual thinking process of what she doesn't want. Of course there's going to be resistance. She's out of practice of thinking of what she wants. And so I got a phone call from her the next day in tears. She said, Matt, you know what? I felt so wonderful at the beach. It was incredible. And I said, okay, great. Are you going to go back? And she was like, oh, no, 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 I've got all of this stuff on. I'm like, no, 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 no. Isn't that funny how we often compact our lives with all of the stuff that we don't want and we make that a priority instead of her? And I said, no, 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 no. We had an agreement. You're going to follow through on this agreement. As I said, otherwise I'm not going to work with you. 2 weeks, you go onto that beach every day. And so that's what she did. And I think it was about the 10th day, again, I got this phone call from her. And again, she was in tears. And she said, Matt, I feel incredible. I've been to the beach every day. I've been writing in this journal. And I was writing in this journal and I looked over the horizon and I saw this beautiful sailboat. And she said, what I want to be, or where I want to be, is on a boat. That's what I want to do. And so obviously the next step was to do something about it. See, clarity doesn't come up front. Clarity comes when you're moving. And so I got her to join a twilight sailing group. And that's what she did. She went twilight sailing and she got on a crew and she started to sail. And they did this, they went in the races I think it was every Wednesday evening. And she was loving it. Initially there was a whole lot of resistance and all of her stuff was coming up, all of her past fears. But I pushed her through it and we worked on it. We released limiting decisions and belief systems and we neutralized all of her fears, and then she showed up. And she showed up onto this twilight sailing event and she called me afterwards. She goes, that was the most incredible experience I've ever had. I loved it. And then so she enrolled into this twilight sailing group and she showed up. And as the months passed, she became really connected to this group. And up to this point, she had no social group whatsoever. She became connected to this group. The weight started to fly off. Isn't that amazing when you connect to who you really are and what you love? All of the protection and fat stores often just fall away, and that's what happened with her. And it was just this fat was melting off her, and this beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous woman started to shine through as she tapped into who she was. And of course, she's glowing and she attracts this relationship. And this incredible connection started to occur. And, um, and she was just so happy, so passionate, so in love. And her partner had a boat, and she was really, really excited about that. And so they'd go on these romantic evenings on this boat, and her confidence started to increase. People at work were like, "What has happened to you?" And she was like, "I don't even want to be in that job anymore. I can't believe I was even there." And they got together and they got engaged, and then they decided to start a business together, and they started Twilight Singles. And this Twilight Singles was a business with their yacht, and they would organise singles or single people to come along. They'd profile them, and they'd have this incredible experience twilight sailing or just for romantic evenings. And amazing business. I think they've got about 3 yachts now, and she's just so happy, making huge amounts of money. And this is the thing. When it comes to money, so many people get stuck on money when it comes to passion and all that type of stuff. If you focus on money, you're going to have a learning experience. Your passion is your compass, and money follows passion. So you start with your passion, you start with what you love, then the opportunities will automatically unfold. But a lot of people, what they do when it comes to money, they jump from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and they don't follow through because they don't have that passion, they don't have that reason, that mission. And so let me put it all together for you. As I said, it's a piece of cake. So I've got a bit of a structure here. The first one is P is passion. You guessed it. And your passion is your compass. So what we're going to look for is just the little things. And if you remember my client, she just had a different experience. That's all I was looking for, a different experience. When she was at the beach, she felt lighter. And to me, that was enough. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to notice those inklings, then we're going to put you in the environment so you can experience more of those inklings, more of those signals, more of those signs. Okay, and as we start to change your environment, what you're going to start to be aware of is new things and new people and new opportunities. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take action on those opportunities. Now, if you remember, I said clarity doesn't come up front. Clarity comes on the journey. And so the next one is clarity. The more action you take, the clearer you become. It's like peeling the layers of the onion back. Now, what's really exciting is that the more clarity you have on who you are, where you're going, what happens is that you start to evolve, and you start to evolve to the next level. And this is where you start to evolve your consciousness. And this is where you start to experience more peace. Because what a lot of people are experiencing is that they're kind of stuck in the box, they feel trapped. And because they feel trapped, there is kind of like all of this compounded emotion, and the ups and downs are closer together. But it's when we go through the process of getting connected to who we are and finding our authenticity, what starts to happen is we start to realize there's nothing to do. All I need to do is be. And from that space, consciousness starts to shift, and then the consistent experience becomes a new levels of peace and new levels of confidence and optimism. And it's not putting this stuff on. A lot of people teach, getting into state and getting confident, and all of that stuff's useful to get out of your comfort zone and to push through barriers. But what I'm talking about is a natural state of confidence, a natural state of optimism, and a natural state of peace. It's like the monk that can sit in the burning castle in a state of peace and calm. And that's what I think we're about here. I think that's our natural state. When you walk along the beach or you walk in a beautiful rainforest, you experience a natural state of peace. And I think that's really our goal. Peace in this world starts from within. And so I hope you enjoyed this presentation. What I'd love to say to you guys is, if you're interested in coming to Live It Now and hearing my dad's message and all of the incredible information that we've put together, just check out liveitnow.com.au. We're raising money for Bear Cottage as well, so bring a donation for them. They're incredible. But I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks very much.